Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator and my Back to Basics series. So I'm going into my second episode now of owning my own tractor and trailer combination, focusing as a hazmat carrier. And I've obviously got specific type of things that I can pick up on my trailer. So what I'm going to do is grab these pesticides here, take them up to Bozeman. Shouldn't be too terribly long of a run. It is an urgent delivery. I did take a look at my rest time. I think I'll be okay, but we'll obviously have to take a look and see. So here we are at the facility, and it is the BNSF facility that I need to be at. So I'm going to have to just get to the front gate to accept the load. And then it will obviously let me know where I need to go to pick it up. Should be the case here. So go to the cargo market, and there we go. So we're going to take this job here. All right. And the cargo is in the loading area. Not quite sure I see it. Where is the loading area? Oh, I see. So I have to go, interesting. Looks like I basically need to pull over here and then fill myself up from something. I don't know, maybe the idea is like it's in that cargo container or something. This series now I am trying to not leave the cab. So I'm going to obviously try to maneuver here without doing that. So that may prove a bit more challenging. Maybe not. But we'll see. See if we can get ourselves where we need to be here. I'm a little too close to the fence, I think. So let me try to push that out a bit. And then see. Goodness. Alright, I'm a little too close, I think, is what is happening. So let me straighten this out, but then, I mean, I do need to turn this some. So that should, in theory, work at this point. I'm kind of shoving it a little bit more than I'd like. Well, this is going to make the episode take longer, whether we like it or not, I guess. But this is part of the fun of doing this kind of for the first time, because I've never really had this type of operation in any of SCS's products, so I think this at least should be pretty good, though. There we go. Alright. So we need to stop the engine and then load the cargo. So there we go. We're going to load it up. Took about an hour. And now we just need to head out. The question is, can I make this turn? I should be okay. I'm getting a little bit of a warning there. Let's see, we'll go slow. Alright, cool. Now, I just don't know if I'm going to have enough room here to maneuver up here. Wow. So there's just a lot of challenges to get out of this yard. I'm not sure that this is going to work. Yeah, I can tell you right now it's not going to work, so... So let me... Come on, why will it not? Like, why will it not back up here? Oh boy, am I gonna hit? No, I'm still okay, I think. Alright, I might have to bounce around, but basically I'm gonna have to go up in the yard a bit and then turn. Whoops, shoot. Well, I just did $900 of damage. That's never fun. I didn't think I was that close, but it is a bit of a longer trailer. Alright. So this should hopefully let me get straightened out enough that I can leave the yard. There we go. Alright. So it's 239 miles, so I just reset my trip odometer there. So we'll get going here. Hopefully that car will wait and not give me any challenges. And then we will be on our way. So, yeah, what I am trying to do here now is operate an organization. I'm in a VTC, Viva Trucking, where I earn some points for running things, and you get bonus points for the specialization that you're working in. And so I am in the hazmat division, and that is one of the reasons I've decided I'm going to do what I'm doing. Because first off, it's a new way of playing for me. Again, I've never focused on just being a specific type of carrier. Now, I think what I may want to do still is maybe eventually have different kinds of trailers that will allow me to take different hazmat, but I think that might create more complexity than it's worth. So maybe we'll just stick with what we have here. But let's see, I've got, 65 is the highest I can go. So I think I'm going to head up, yes, to the left. That's what I was just going to say, because we're going north. Alright, and this should then take us around, and we should be able to head over to up into Montana and over to Bozeman. You know, what I may end up having, though, is I may just have kind of a regional focus, is what this may somewhat create for me. I'm not necessarily seeking to do that. I'm happy to drive around in different areas, but you know, I need to be able to get the type of jobs and so forth that I need. And so obviously right now we're heading up here. You know, pesticides would be used everywhere, so you would think that that would give me some capability to just haul those nationwide, and I'm sure lye is similar, which is the other main cargo that I was able to take from there. But I think part of what happens is there's certain cargo types available in each market, and so that's where you know, that's set, I think, by SCS and what happens there. So the big news of the day, this episode will come out before that, but another state has been announced, an official release date, I should say, has been announced. So Kansas will be coming out before the end of November. And once again, one of the reasons I switched, as I did to, okay, we got a little bit, so we do have like events and things like this set to kind of the defaults that the game has. So, ooh, he lost the load. That's never fun. What is that building? Wow, that is an impressive structure, whatever is over on the left. Bonneville County. If anybody knows in Idaho Falls here, drop me a line. Let me know what that building is. You know, post it down in the comments. Ooh, we've got a little tank up on a stand there, aiming at that building. I'm sure that's not what it's doing, but we're going to go with that. But yeah, so it's been interesting, and I am on board with some of the people who commented, because there, of course, were people immediately were like, "Wow, so soon after Oklahoma, I have a bad feeling," and so the most we could think about was that they're assuming that they took 2 or 3 months to build the DLC and that it's going to be low quality. And so other people very quickly reminded them, like, you do understand they have 3 teams working on maps right now. So that doesn't mean that this only took 3 months from start to finish. Like, these teams are working in parallel, and they're not just starting when the other one released. And then, of course, it went to exactly what I was thinking of. Are these the same people grumbling now that they're coming too fast?
Right. And then
That regularly grumble that it takes forever, and why are states taking so long to release? So it's kind of pointing out the fact that, people just are never happy. And again, we don't know if they're the same people or not. They may not be.
Right.
But it is interesting. I am very excited, and I am not surprised. This is kind of what I was predicting. If you've watched the series for a bit, even watched the Coast to Coast series when I was using some mod maps, I always made the comment that I thought once we got into kind of the Great Plains, the flatter states, like it or not, because that was the complaints that people were giving at that point, they look very similar. I mean, they're flat land, they're farmland, they're grassland. They should therefore be very easy to kind of crank out. And I was hoping and speculating that we'd see faster movement. And so, yes, this is by far the fastest release, one after the other, that I've ever seen in the time I've been playing ATS. And I've not been playing it from the beginning, but it has been several years. So I started around when Colorado was coming out. So I've gone through 4 or 5 states at this point that have been released. And this is really great. The fact that we've gotten, I think the other one may have been August, but it might have been September. And the fact that, we're getting another one on the 30th, it bodes well, I think, that we're going to see Nebraska pretty quickly as well. And that hopefully, I don't think we're going to see it before the end of the year. Oh, that's a brave man. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see it early. And by early, I mean before March. Then there may be a lull again, because we have Arkansas, which does have some mountains, is a little bit different coming next, or announced next, so those are what they're working on. But now we're back at the point, because basically after they delivered Oklahoma, then they made the announcement shortly after about Arkansas, which would make me think that that's where that team rolled on, because we had the Kansas and Nebraska being worked on by teams already. So the question then becomes, what's next for the Kansas team? Now that they're tidying things up and releasing. But I think again that might be a bit optimistic, but I would hope we get an announcement of what the next state will be before the end of the year. That would be great. So that we can then kind of have 3 in the hopper and know what's happening. And again, I don't remember how quickly it was that Arkansas was announced, but my hope is, again, that we go and take care of the Dakotas. I'm thinking that some of these folks were doing that type of thing. So, because there was a team that went out and scouted that area, Iowa and all that, and Minnesota and so forth, I think. So we'll get those, I hope, and then, we'll just continue. And I'm perfectly fine, however, whatever order they want to release, within reason. I don't think it would be appropriate, as some people are dying to have, is just basically like hang along the southern edge, and drive your way as quickly as you can to Florida or something. I get people want Florida. I get people want New York. We'll get there when it's time to get there. So I would just hope people have patience and appreciate what we've got, and the fact that we've gotten, Oklahoma just released, and now we're going to get Kansas so quickly after that. And the great thing with this series is I'm going to be able to use Kansas right away, where in my Euro Truck series, because it's using the Pro Mods map, which is incredible in Europe, by the way, just not so great for Canada. I just think there aren't enough people interested in developing for that, so they don't make any kind of progress. And the Canadian Pro Mods map is very poor quality. It's better than some of the other maps for ATS, but that's honestly not saying much, because that was part of the discussion that people had, is there's less roads in Kansas from the DLC than there are in the mod maps. And I'm assuming they meant what was the Midwest expansion, but part of why I stopped the series was it looked like the person who was maintaining that kind of was stopping, and stopped at like 1.47 or something, and basically said they weren't continuing. And I just was like, I can't keep waiting in a series for maps that may never come. And then it became very much that I would be going back to Coast, which was continuing, but Coast to Coast is bare bones. It's absolutely cut and paste roads just to get you from point A to point B. No unique scenery, nothing of interest. I am not a fan of that mod map. It serves its purpose. It does what it needs to do, which is get you places. But in no position would I ever suggest that map is going to be better than whatever SCS comes out with, regardless of how few cities or roads that there are. Again, you can see what we see here coming into little towns in Montana. We're crossing the border. What is this guy doing? This level of detail very rarely exists on mod maps for ATS. I think the modders for Pro Mods have done a great job. I've never taken the time to really... Alright, which way? Left?
Turn left.
Okay. I've never really taken the time to try to see, like, hey, what does it look like? I want to make sure I swing wide enough so I don't clip anybody there. But now we're getting into the Montana mountains over near Glacier National Park here and so forth. So we've got Yellowstone Glacier, so we may have some fun. We're entering the Gallatin National Forest. Fire risk is low, which is excellent. So yeah, so I'm excited about another state, and why I did this here is, yes, we're getting more add-ons, and what I was saying but never finished the sentence was, in Eurotruck I haven't introduced West Balkans yet, because I'm waiting for Pro Mods to be able to allow me to use that. So I'm continuing that series, basically ignoring a DLC that has been a long time coming because of the delays they had to do with Russia. And of course, you've got the grumblers over there. Release Russia. Okay, well, the reason they didn't release Russia, that reason hasn't vanished. So I get, it's a game, and we can argue, like, well, the game is not real anyway, so... But I applaud SCS for their stance of not supporting in any way, even though I don't think they were, like, giving money to anything or whatever. I mean, maybe there were developers or something in Russia that were helping or something, but I don't know. I'm okay with it not happening, but the exciting thing is I'll be able to bring Kansas in, and it will likely then be on my next episode, because I'm not sure I'm going to do... Well, I may do one more episode before that. But knowing that Kansas is coming, I'm not going to press on, but I don't know that I want to be that close, because I think... well, maybe. I don't know. we'll either have Kansas or we won't, and I doubt we'll get to Kansas in the next episode, even if we have it. But it'll give us an addition to the map, and then obviously Nebraska's likely to be next. I mean, it's possible Arkansas could hopscotch over it. I think, we're going to have less of the situation where states were coming out during Texas's development, and that ended up being a complaint from people like, Texas was announced earlier than this, and you've announced this one and released it. Like, where's Texas? Texas is huge. Like, they were explaining that, like, it's going to take longer and so forth. But, the good news is we don't really have any massive states. I mean, Minnesota's pretty big, but, I'm not sure that it's, I still don't think it's on par with the Texas or anything like that. So I think it'll be okay and come out. But I'm thinking we're back on a cycle where they're going to kind of come out in the order they were announced. So if that's the case, I would expect Nebraska will be released next, and then Arkansas. And obviously we have to wait and see what's announced next. But it does just seem, because I think Kansas is the one that's the sunflower state or whatever, it does seem like it was maybe a year ago or something that we had the announcement for that. So it's not that long that we've been waiting. So I do like that. I see the pace quickening. The fact they have 3 teams I think is helpful, and certainly to encourage them to keep 3 teams and keep moving. I am all for, getting the DLC and moving forward. Where, my other piece with Euro Truck, the challenge is, where else do they go? Like, they've got a lot of Europe done. I mean, I know they can do things, because I think they did say something about Greece or whatever, and then people were complaining, well, Greece is part of the Balkans and whatever. Well, okay, but Greece may be complicated, and it may, and the company still has to make money. Like, they can't release Russia yet. They've still got all of that they're basically sitting on. So I can't fault them for trying to maybe make a quick dollar on what might be a smaller release, but still charge the full amount. But my challenge ends up being, like, I then have to wait for ProMods to integrate. So I do like the direction I've taken here with the back to basics of let's just go to straight official content, and then there's nothing I need to be waiting for, because I'm not waiting for any mods, perhaps, because if I've got to drop real-time company mods, whatever, like, that wouldn't end the series, and yes, it would be a bit disruptive, but alright, so another event probably. Alright, we don't have to stop. Now we're yawning. I don't have my sim hub up, but I've got to be close, so I know we're in Montana, so I think I'm just going to press on, and then we'll sleep later. So the other thing is 1.49 is going to be coming out soon, and that's going to introduce some crazy weather effects, it looks like, as far as storms with lightning and whatever. So not sure, that's going to be random as to whether we run into it. I've noticed there isn't a ton of rain that happens in ATS. It's kind of few and far between, it seems. And then when it does happen, it's short, but that might change the cycle. But and they've also got the moon and so forth. So at night we'll have potential for moon and moonlight and all that. So some pretty cool lighting changes that they've made as well. I'm still holding out hope that maybe they'll do gameplay type stuff with LTL cargoes at some point. I almost want to say part of what they're doing, and I think they teased a little bit of there's something new coming as well, but they didn't get specific. Like, that would be awesome if they were doing something like that, but it remains to be seen. And in the meantime, I am more than happy to just continue to enjoy this sim the way it is. I think it's an excellent experience. Always enjoy it. Alright, so we are here in Bozeman. Even though I'm yawning, I'm good, but I can at least look where I want to rest. Alright, I guess I'll go over to the right here because everyone's waiting. So I do not see my delivery point yet, but the game should turn into what I call kind of city time, where when you're not in a city, you're ticking off miles a lot faster. You know, we're here at 231. I think we had to go to 239, so we've only got 8 miles to go. But it goes slower on the mileage when you're in the city because it's almost like the scale changes from 1 to 20 to a little tighter. And then the time also changes. Oh, we might be able to stop at the viewpoint and get a view of Bozeman. So if they're on the route and they're nearby, oh no, we're turning left, so we won't. All right. Because yeah, I wasn't seeing anything, so I'm like, well, maybe, but no such luck. So we're going to take these pesticides, and it was like Walden's or something, which I assume might be a real company, but maybe it's a Montana company that hasn't been replaced. But yeah, we'll take a look. So coming up on 500 miles on my rig here, so still got that new truck smell. You know, the seats are all fresh leather and everything still smells nice and new. I think that'll last for a while. Well, in the way the sim works, it'll probably last forever because it's not as if they have aging interiors or anything like that. But I'm hopeful that I can successfully deliver a little better than I picked up. I probably added 5 minutes to the episode fumbling around trying to get my tanker in position for that. That was trickier than one would have expected. I probably did a really bad approach. I know I've had some folks who said they are truckers or were truckers that have commented on my videos, so I'm sure someone will tell me what I did wrong in lining myself up for that delivery. Alright, so we are probably within an hour or so of when we need to be there. But I would hope, given that I'm in town, that I'm okay. Alright, at least now we see it. Doesn't look like there's anything there. Hopefully we can make it through the light. And then I am on the gas, so I am trying really hard. At this point we're good. So let's see if we can cross the other side of the interstate. We're gonna have to stop here, but at least we'll have gotten through those. And then this is just the far side of town here. Because yeah, in a little bit we'll get kind of louder music that usually jumps in. So I'm not sure, like those front mirrors, it's almost like I'm too low to see the one on the driver's side. The passenger side one isn't too bad. But I'm hoping they're going to help me out a bit. Because I also have that one on the passenger door to like look right next to me, which I probably could have used near that fence to see how close I was. So I figured I'd, you know, deck the truck out a bit with some nicer stuff.
Keep left, and then turn left.
Alright. I'm assuming it meant... Yeah, okay. It didn't tell me recalculating, so it didn't mean here, because clearly I'm just kind of going around the block here. But I would think this would be easier. Okay, so it's Walden's. It's like a nursery, which would be a logical place for pesticides. And then we'll see how they want it. It looks like it's here somewhere. Alright, I see... Oh wow, this looks like it may be... Is it just a... Oh no, it's not a pull-in. I'm like, I would be surprised if it was. But again, definitely been told by some of the truckers, do not, if you can avoid it, do not do blindsides. That's kind of what they do, and that's how they're more successful and faster, and that would make sense. So now again, I can kind of look. I can see I've got a little shed back there. I just want to be careful. Not sure that I'm turning. I've got pallets on the ground there. Alright. I think I'm alright. Let's start straightening out. Whoops. Oh boy. So, we'll see what we can do here. Alright. This should be pretty good. It's just a matter of, do I have enough space on the other side? Whoops. I don't want to go back that way. So yeah, we'll get this in here so that they can do whatever they need to do. Did we knock some stuff over there? Can we do that? It looks like we did. Alright, before we make a bigger mess in their yard. So we'll turn the engine off. We'll unload the trailer. And there we go, we've delivered. And we made it on time, so we got a little money and some experience. Moving ourselves up through level 11. So hope you've enjoyed that delivery of pesticide. Again, we may have Kansas added next time. That would be a really long haul from Montana down to Kansas, so I don't think we'll get there if we do. But if not, and that may be an incentive, maybe get myself closer down there, do an episode in between, and then get Kansas out there sooner rather than later. But we'll see. Either way, whether I have it loaded or not, it still might take 2 episodes till we have a shot of getting down there. But we'll see what comes up. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, and you haven't yet had a chance to like the video, please consider doing that. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps increase the reach of the channel. And if you're not yet a subscriber, please consider that as well. I'm always very, very appreciative of the folks who are putting their trust in me and coming back. We're getting really close at the time of this recording to 1,000 subscribers. When I checked before this, I've got 3 to go. So don't need a lot to hit that milestone. Would love to do it over the next few days. Got the Thanksgiving weekend coming up, and absolutely would be giving thanks for hitting that milestone. So if you can assist me there, I'll be ever grateful. With that, I will see you next time.